Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are at the moment watching this video. Today I want to talk to you about a plugin that I have grown to like because it's something that I use most of my images, and that is this NBP Freq Step Control. As you can tell by the name, it's a frequency separation panel. What makes this panel really special is that if you are already familiar with frequency separation, the process of splitting the texture and color and light into two different layers, this panel allows you to do so, but it gives you a preview of the texture and the base layer before running it. And it does it really quickly. Those are the two key points that I really like about this panel. So I'm going to be using this particular image shot by Bella Kotak, and we have this color toned image which we launched on our website recently for fineartactions.com, and it makes a great image because it has a lot of color, it has a lot of detail, and even though this is just a WebRes file, it's going to give you a testament to how this panel works. So by default, once you load the panel, it's really easy. It comes with an installer that you just double click and it runs. You don't have to do anything, like you don't have to install extensions or any of that stuff. You run it, you go into Photoshop and you start working. So once this panel is there, you'll find it under extensions and NBP Freq Step Control. You can tell I don't have many extensions. The only other one that I really like to use is Lumenzia, which is also great. But now that we have this here, first thing is under settings, I want to make sure that it duplicates a layer so it doesn't run on the background. Because as you know, if you run a frequency separation on a background, it's going to separate the background, and we want to separate it on another folder. If you're not familiar with what frequency separation is, this is not really the video to explain what to do and how to do it. But this panel is great because now if I decide that I want to use a specific threshold for the panel, I'll just run the numbers. So this is at 6.7 for the meantime. It gives me a really good preview. So it shows me the detail. Or I can click on base and it shows me the low layer. And if I want to click on a split preview, I click on one of these options and decide where it splits from. So within moments, it allows me to see exactly what I'm going to go for. I like to use base and detail because I just want to see it across the whole image. And it gives me a very clear understanding of how much texture is going to seep in and how much color is going to seep in. I want to keep the radius really low, clearly for this particular image. So maybe around 1 or so, because you see the texture coming in without any of the color. That's my preference. Maybe 1.2. Hit enter. Let's do 1.5. Okay, so maybe, oh, that's 15, 1.5. There we go. That's a bit better. I think this is a good amount. A little bit of colors coming through, but not a lot. And mostly my target is usually the face anyway. So, when you zoom in, you see the rest of the texture throughout the image without as much color as possible. I think that's a good split for me. Now, when I hit base as a preview, you see some of the colors here and it looks out of focus. Perfect. So I'm going to hit apply. And when I hit apply and turn this folder on and off, you notice that there's no change happening with the base background and this folder, which is a big deal for me. I don't like any luminosity changes happening when I run the frequency separation action or whatever it is, because I want it to look exact so that when I make my changes, I'm not changing anything, because if I do that, clients typically will notice and that's not good for me at all. So now that I have my high and low here, you do whatever you want to do with it. Typically, I use a healing brush on current layer for the texture, if there's anything texture related, but most of this, is really personal. And then some people like to use a blank layer underneath to even out some transitions, for example, or the base layer if they're trying to remove some color toning issues and things of that nature. So aside from that, this is how to run it. You can also set up another folder on top of this if you decide to run another one and go from there. You can see that it ran at 1.5, etc. But that's really not necessary. But so there you have it. I think the biggest takeaway for me with this panel is it's a lot faster than using actions. Even with a frequency separation action, this seems to run lightning fast. It gives me a preview right away before running it in case I want to change radiuses and get the exact perfect radius because it does change from image to image instead of just guessing around. Now, typically if you do set a radius and run an action, you have to run the entire action, stop it, redo it again if you decide that it's not the perfect amount of split. So this makes it really easy to see how it looks. So you can get this specific panel on ninobatista.zenfolio.com/plugins. He has this free step control panel. It's only 25 bucks, which is fantastic for the level of time and dedication they put into testing this. And believe me, when I tell you, Nino made sure that his testers like myself were happy with this panel before putting out there. So you guys know I don't really use panels very much, but this is one I think I'm going to be setting into my workflow quite a bit, and I already have done so with the work that I've done. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I can't see what you guys think of it.